I have been sitting on my ass all day. I haven't been productive at all because my willingness to do anything has melted, just like my skin is melting off of my face. So to trick my brain into thinking that I've actually done something worthy today, I'm going to film a video. And since my brain cells have also melted, or if they haven't, they're nowhere to be found, I will be filming a video that requires the least effort possible, and that is my summer TBR. So I'll just be randomly chatting about books that I might or might not read this summer. Yay! Hello my lovely readers and queers, welcome back to my channel. I am Franny, or whatever is left of me that hasn't been burnt off by the heat yet. And in today's video, I'm just going to be chatting with you about some books that I might read during the summer season. I have made a to read this summer list on my Kobo of ebooks that I would like to read, and I have some titles in mind of audiobooks that I could be listening to. I know that I owe you a May wrap-up and a June wrap-up, and I promise you they're going to come at some point, but today I'm not physically and mentally capable of filming wrap-ups. Might be 40 degrees perceived at this point, and I am just... my brain has left. I'm physically here, but my brain has left. So I will start with the books that I am currently reading, because hopefully those will be read for sure, since I have already started them. And I'm actually in the middle of quite a few things, because I have this very bad habit of not necessarily always continuing what I am reading, because if the mood strikes me, if I feel like I'm in a particular mood for something specific, I will just start something else. And so I find myself currently reading like 5-6 different books, and then when I'm not in any particular mood, I don't know which one of the books I should continue with. And that's not the best predicament to be in. But someday, hopefully, I'll change, but that day is not today. So, what am I currently reading right now? Starting with the ebooks, I am currently reading The Girl in Question by Tess Sharp. This is a queer YA novel that is sort of a sequel to The Girls I've Been. I am 17% in, and I am really loving it so far. I love that it is not structured in a chronological way. It has some time jumps in the future and then the past and then a present, I guess, compared to the future and the past. And I think it's really working because there's a kidnapping situation. The main character has a plan that I think she kept hidden from her sister and the friends that she's currently camping with. It's really working for me. I think that The Girls I've Been could be read as a standalone. It perfectly works. There wasn't really a cliffhanger. I didn't know that there was going to be a sequel when I read that book. But if you read that book and you enjoyed it, then I see no reason why you shouldn't continue with this one, because the writing is there, the characters are there, the sassiness is there, the action is already there, and I am really enjoying it. So I cannot wait to continue. I actually should, instead of dying in the heat, doing nothing and not being productive, I could read, right? But yeah, I'm not doing that. Another ebook that I'm currently reading that had started at the beginning of July, and then I kind of stopped because I wasn't really in the mood anymore, but I was loving it when I was reading it, is These Letters End in Tears. This is about two women that live in Cameroon and they fall in love. One is Muslim, one is Catholic, and of course being homosexual is not legal in Cameroon, because yes, in some places it is still a crime, right? Being queer, being in a same-sex relationship is still a crime. I am 19% in. What I can tell so far is that the main character, the narrator of the story, is one of the two women, Bassem, who is sort of writing letters to Fatima. And from these letters, you get to relive how they met each other, how their story evolved, and what happened, how they were separated. And now we are kind of in the present and things are happening. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is so beautifully written. It is heart-wrenching, and I'm sure you can imagine why it is heart-wrenching. I remember a specific point a few chapters in where I literally had to stop reading because it was really affecting me. And now that I'm talking about it, it's actually putting me in the mood to go back to it and read it because I was really loving it. I am sure that I'm going to love it. I cannot wait to continue. Back in June, I had also started In Defense of the Act by Effie Black. And again, I was loving it. Oh my goodness, I was loving it so much. I don't know why I paused it. What's wrong with me? Wow, that is a very loaded question that we do not have the time to get into because the list is long. But I was only 15% in, but that 15% was wow. It was incredibly written. It was so interesting. We are basically following a woman who is, what was she? She was not just a scientist. She was like a theoretical evolutionist. Up to where I reached, she was mostly talking about suicide and how natural the concept can be. She was talking about how we humans see suicide and how suicide works, for instance, in the animal world. Basically, the main character supports suicide in the sense that she understands the reasoning, she sees the potential value in it, and that is a very uncommon, interesting stance. I was loving it. I don't know why I stopped reading it. I really want to go back to it. Hopefully soon. Hopefully this summer I continue it and I finish it and I will be able to tell you more. As for the audiobooks, I am currently listening to The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and that is a cozy fantasy story where we follow a main character that was a librarian. She has to leave this library due to a fire. She has to leave the empire's capital where she was living, and she moves back to her hometown. And there she basically has to start her life over, and she decides to open a gem shop. And her shop is also going to be a front for another business activity because she's also planning on selling spells to her hometown people. It definitely has the cozy vibe. It is very cottagecore, so if you're into that, you cannot miss out on this book for sure. Just the description of this island, the sea, the forests, her orchard, magical creatures, unicorns. It is just super cozy and I'm loving listening to it. I also feel like this is the perfect season to read that book because it feels very summery, but not in a 40 degrees heat summer, more in a breezy, warm, relaxing summer. And that's the type of summer that I would like to be in right now. And that's kind of it for what I am currently reading. So now let's move on to some ebooks that I would like to get to throughout the summer. As I said in my mid-year reading check-in, I think it was, I'm going to have a lot more time this summer to dedicate to reading. It is much slower at work, which means that when I'm done with work, I still have some mental energy left that I can dedicate to reading. And also I'll go on holiday for 3 weeks, so that is definitely going to help. I plan on doing a lot of reading, and these are organized by title. They're in alphabetical order because that's what I have on my Kobo. So the first one is The Heartbreak Bakery by A.R. Capetta. I was supposed to read this in June for the Queer Lit Readathon. I didn't get around to it, unfortunately. I had started this already a few months ago and then I didn't continue it for reasons unbeknownst to me as well, but I was really loving it. And from what I remember, it was set in Texas, in Georgia, in a southern US state, and it was set during the summer. It had that it is too hot vibe, so definitely perfect for now. And it had food, it had baking, it had a bit of magic, it had a queer friendship / love story at the center of it as well. And I cannot wait to go back to it and to continue it. It is a YA queer novel, but it was kind of, I don't want to say spicy, but sensual for sure. There was a lot of baking together and attraction / sexual chemistry in the air. I cannot wait to go back to it and continue. I think I'm just going to restart it because I was really loving it and I wouldn't mind rereading those scenes just to get me back in the mood and the atmosphere and the character's mind. So that's for sure a book that I'm going to read this summer. I had a lot of H's here. So I have Hearthfire by Emmy Mears. I really want to read some fantasy books this summer. And if you have watched my review of The Evolving Truth of Ever Stronger Will, side note, I will keep mentioning that book over and over again every chance I get, because I really want everyone to go and read that book right now. But anyways, at the end of it, I had mentioned that the author has written some fantasy books under a pseudonym, and that pen name is Emmy Mears. And this is the first book in a trilogy that they have written, apart from the fact that it is a queer fantasy. I don't know anything else, and I don't want to, because I trust Emmy Mears / Maya McGregor. They can do whatever they want. They can write whatever they want, and I'll read that. So that's all I need to say. Then there's The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This was another book that I wanted to read in June, but didn't get around to. And I don't know much about this one, but the cover, just like The Spell Shop, is giving me cozy fantasy, cozy vibes, and summer vibes. It is not making me think of the autumn witchy vibes, if you know what I mean. I think that there's a curse, and I think that it is one of those I cannot fall in love sort of curses, otherwise something very bad is going to happen, which, you know, it has its appeal. It is a queer adult witchy paranormal book. What's not to like about that, you know? Cold juice is the way I survive the summer. That's my secret. Okay. Another H is for Hot Summer by Elle Everhart. I'm just gonna read something from the blurb here, because I think it's the easiest way for me to tell you why I want to read this book this summer. So, sparks fly when a young woman finds herself cast on a Love Island-inspired reality show and has to choose between her heart and her strategy in this sizzling new queer romantic comedy. So, one thing you need to know and understand about me is that I love watching reality shows with my wife, such as Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, Perfect Match, like those types of reality shows. And so this is just calling out to me, if, like, you can understand, right? This book seems like it has all of that, plus it's queer. And on that note, I will say that we need another queer ultimatum. Okay, we need another season. Where is it? I'm waiting for it. And I would, oh my goodness, I would love a queer Love is Blind. Oh my God, that would be the greatest thing ever, because everyone would get married. Everyone would get married. We all know that. But anyways, I really want to read this book. I cannot wait. I'll read this when I'm on vacation, on the beach. It'll be the perfect setting. I am so excited. Okay, moving on from the H's. Molten Death. I have Molten Death by Leslie Karst. I have mentioned this already. This is a queer mystery novel set in Hawaii. And in this one, the amateur detectives are wives. Okay, we have a married Selfie couple, and they're going to investigate a murder. I don't know anything else. I don't want to know anything else. Okay, that's all I need to know. Give me a married couple. Give me wives investigating a murder on an island. I mean, come on. If I don't love this book, I'll be so disappointed. I'll be so heartbroken, and I do not want to be heartbroken. So let's hope to goodness that I love that book. I have many on this list on my Kobo, but I'm just telling you the more likely ones, the ones that I will most likely actually read. And I have here True Love and Other Impossible Odds by Christina Lee, and that is because in this book we have a college student that creates an app to match people. And since this book is queer, I wonder if it is going to be a queer sort of matching dating app. And it all starts with a quiz that the main character takes, and that just brings me back to my childhood and teenage years when, you know, you would do those quizzes during the summer, those quizzes that you would find in magazines that is going to tell you your perfect date, what season you are, what's your color, you know, those silly things. It just makes me think of summer, and, you know, it just gives me the summer vibes. So I would really love to read this one this summer. And now onto the audiobooks. My camera is about to die, so hopefully we can make it through the audiobooks, because I would love for it to die just mid-sentence. Very quick, the audiobooks, also because I've already covered most of the these in my most anticipated new releases for the months of July and August. So if you watched that video, that's all the info that you need to know about these books. So I am listening to The Spell Shop. When I'm done with that, I have Queen Bee by Jonah Dawson. This is the prequel in Her Majesty's Royal Coven series. And if you've been here for any length of time, you should know that I love that series. Usually I read these books during the autumn-winter season, but I might do an exception for this one because it is not the continuation of the story. It's a prequel, so it is a little bit different in my brain. Also because unlike the other books in this series, this prequel, the audiobook, is only 5 hours long. The other ones are like 15, 16 hours long. So I think I can read it pretty fast. And quick audiobooks are more like a summer thing, so that's perfect. I don't know if you can see my sweat, but it's there. It's all over my face. I apologize about that, but there's nothing I can do about it. Then in August, we have Death at Morning House by Maureen Johnson coming out. I don't know anything about this one, just that it's a YA novel, YA mystery novel. Might be queer, knowing Maureen Johnson, but we shall see. It's Maureen Johnson. I'll listen to it. Narrated by Catherine Littrell, who I really love as a voice narrator. And then also coming out on August 6th, we have The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. And of course, I'll listen to it, as soon as I possibly can. At the end of August, there's also a Banh Mi for Two by Trinity Nguyen, and I want to listen to the audiobook of that one. That book is a queer YA novel that is about Vietnamese culture, Vietnamese street food, and it kind of reminds me of Fig Dates and Mooncakes by Shirley, and I loved that book when I read it during my summer holidays last year. Also in August is coming out The Imposition of Unnecessary Obstacles by Maka Older. The ebook is already available, but the audiobook is coming out in August, and this is the second installment in the Mossa and Platy sci-fi mystery queer novella series. I listened to the first one last summer and I really loved it, so this is another one that I would like to read this summer. And another audiobook that I would love to listen to is Idol by Louise O'Neill. This is another queer novel. From what I remember when I read the synopsis, this one is about a woman. She's sort of a celebrity. She's a famous person, and she writes a memoir. And in this memoir, she talks about a relationship that she had with another woman in her past. And later, this woman comes out and states that, according to her, that relationship was not consensual. And so I'm just very interested to see how that plot is going to play out. I am really excited, also because I haven't read anything yet by Louise O'Neill, and I've heard amazing things about this author, so I would love to read a book by her soon. And this is it for this video. We made it. I'm actually surprised, but I'm glad that whatever brain cells were left in my brain, they were able to put together words and form coherent sentences. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below what books you'll be reading this summer and what you think about the books that I will hopefully be reading. What can I say? I might read these books, I might not. Who knows, right? We shall see. I'm unpredictable. I almost never read what I said I would read, so anything can happen. I will see you very soon in another video. Hopefully I will be able to give you the wrap-ups as soon as I can, as soon as the weather allows me to film something that requires a little bit more mental energy. But until then, have a good one, take care, and keep reading queer books. From Hugs. Bye!